Today, we're going to be diving into the latest look at the stock market, look at some news, including the Dow Jones hitting a record high this week. Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Flex Free Game channel. Today, we're going to be diving into the latest look at the stock market, look at some news, including the Dow Jones hitting a record high this week. Also, we're going to be looking at some sector shifts and some of the things that are going on in the market and some things for you to be looking at as we move forward. So if you're looking to stay informed about the market and really stay in tune with what's going on, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. And let's go ahead and get into it. So, big thing with the market overview, the Dow Jones, like I said before, it closed at a new record high on Friday. It ended up at 44,296, which was up 426 points on the day, nearly 1%. This capped a winning week for the Dow. So the Dow's been up this week, 3 consecutive winning days in the week. The S&P was also up as well, adding about 0.35%. And marking 5 straight days of gains. So the S&P had 5 straight days, the Dow had 3 days ending the week, and we see the market kind of moving forward, especially with the Dow hitting those record highs. So over in the tech area where we look at the NASDAQ, that ended higher as well today, about 0.16% today. But it is worth noting that there were some losers on the day that are in the tech sector, actually some of the big names, right? So Nvidia dropped 3.2%, and then Alphabet, which is Google, also was down 1.7%. So overall, the Dow ended the week 2% higher. The S&P and NASDAQ around 1.7% higher, showing a strong run, kind of a turn from last week's market lull after the post-election rally had stalled out. So now we're starting to see that market kind of turning around and moving forward. So as we're looking at the market, we are seeing some sector shifts, right? Some big money kind of moving from the tech sector into some other sectors. And we're seeing really they're moving into some more economically sensitive sectors. We saw industrials and consumer discretionary stocks leading the S&P higher, while communication services sector, which includes many of the tech giants, was kind of the worst performer. So what is kind of driving this shift? It really can be looked at as investors kind of rebalancing their portfolio and moving away from some of those high-flying tech stocks. At the end of the year, this is kind of something that happens a lot. I call it window dressing. You've probably heard of it before, but this is where some of your big institutions, some of your mutual funds, they kind of dress up their portfolio, right? By getting out of some of the things that are a little bit more volatile, some of those high-flying tech stocks, and kind of moving into some of those more brand name stocks. Home Depot is one that comes to mind, something I'll be touching on a little bit more later. But you'll see this with these big companies and funds where they're going to kind of try to dress up their portfolio again to make it look more enticing for someone who's looking to purchase a mutual fund or something like that, where they can show some of these big name companies. So at the end of the year, again, we call it window dressing. You'll see some of that, and that's kind of driving some of this move as well. So some of the key insights, some of the analysts have noted that this trend, again, shifting from large cap in tech sectors, is part of a traditional end of election year rally as well. So on top of that window dressing, we're having some of this. Historically, all sizes, styles, and sectors tend to see price raises as we close out election year. So that's something that's kind of driving the market as well. And this could be where we're seeing some of these, small cap and mid cap stocks having strong performances, across the market as well. So one of the things we want to talk about as well is the upcoming weeks and kind of the outlook of what we're going to see. So looking forward, as if this shift continues, if we continue to see kind of the tech stocks kind of lagging behind and some of the other things kind of moving forward, we'll continue to see opportunities for us as investors, as retail investors, to kind of watch and see what's going on, to see if there's some opportunities for us. Again, some of those big name companies, Home Depot is one that kind of sticks out to me as one that you can take advantage of. And as we continue to see some of these moves by some of the larger investors, as we continue to move towards this recovery as well, though, we want to make sure we're staying in line with what inflation is doing, right? We have seen inflation drop a little bit, but it hasn't quite got to where the Fed wants it, as at 2% rate. So continue to monitor what the Fed chair says. If he decides to continue dropping rates, that would be good. But if the inflation continues to rise, we could see a change in mind, and he might decide to raise some of the interest rates, which would impact the market. So make sure we take a look at that. And then the one big play I want to talk about for the upcoming weeks, and I've kind of touched on this a couple times today, is Home Depot, right? So I think Home Depot is going to be a great company to kind of look at or look at investing in towards the end of the year. Something that if you don't have a position in, you can start a position, or if you're already holding shares, you can start to add to that position. If you look at Home Depot today, it was up $9.55, closing the day at 420 even, which it's been on a nice run. If we look over the past 6 months, Home Depot was trading around 338 at the start of 6 months ago, and now it's trading up at 420. So if you've been riding that for the past 6 months, you'll be in a good position. But as we move forward, I think we're going to continue to see some of that window dressing. We're going to continue to see some of the big money kind of move out of those tech stocks that have been flying high and kind of rebalancing their portfolios towards the end of the year. So be on the lookout for some opportunities. Again, Home Depot is one that I like, but there are some others out there. And also, as you're going forward and looking at the market, if you have any questions, anything that's kind of top of mind for you, make sure you leave us a comment, leave us a question. We'd love to get to those on some of our upcoming videos. And again, if this was helpful for you, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Make sure you're watching our upcoming videos as well. And we'll see you on the next one. Have a good one.